What is everyone? It's our master, and I'm back. Yeah, I've been gone for a while. I was on vacation with the family, the usual stuff. And by the time of this video, I'm actually doing another CD update collection. Now, if you don't follow me on my Instagram, I seriously recommend y'all follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter so that way you can kind of see how my collection is going and catching up. But for those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't follow me on my Instagram, this is like I said, I always try to do update videos and all that, but I always try to go a bit deep dive into them on my Instagram. But so, like I said, I went on vacation and I was waiting for some CDs to come in the mail, and I finally got some of them already in the mail. I was gonna wait until I get some of them, but I was like, you know what, might as well get the rest of it done. And since I went to Houston, I went to some a local record shop. It's called Soundwave. Which, if you're near the Houston area, I want to say maybe the downtown area, I seriously recommend y'all to go to the Soundwave. I'll probably put a link in the description to their website so that way you can check them out. It's a really, really good place, really good atmosphere. And I went a bit crazy in the record shop, close to nearly $300, which I know it sounds a lot, but you know what? With the amount of rarities or CDs that you don't find where I live, it was a no-brainer. And to show you how much I went crazy, and it's people that don't follow me, look at this giant stack of CDs. I mean, look at it. It's probably the biggest stack of CDs I've ever gotten in a while. Like I said, the majority are from that record shop. Some were from that I ordered online, on eBay and all that, and some that I had to wait in the mail. But enough of that. Let's get into what I got in the CDs. So first of all, I have them all by alphabetical order. Of course, we have Auces Esquila de Lune. I mean, if you know me, I've been beginning more into black metal or even shoegaze kind of style, but I mean, album is one of the most beautiful, majestic, out of this world experiences you're ever gonna experience. I mean, the song, the end of the album, Sur el Oche, Gloria de Flor. Sorry, my French is ain't that great, but listen to that song either when it's raining or that, it'll really, really, really hit you right in the heart. Next up, and I didn't have this album. It's shockingly, they didn't have this album until but finally I can say I have it in the collection. I'm talking about Black Sabbath's self-titled debut, Black Sabbath. What more can I say about this album that hasn't been said already? From The Wizard to NIB to The Wall of the Ship, the title track. That's it. That's all you need to know. But I was finally able to get the debut after not having it in the collection for God knows reason. I mean, there's some albums that you try to get, but you never get, because there's some things that the rarities trying to find, or some other albums that are not easily to find too. So I knew that finding the debut album wasn't a matter of, finding it, because I could find it easy anywhere, but it's just a matter of when to get it. And, it's not just me, with a lot of people who collect CDs, vinyls, it's kind of almost that mentality, trying to find the rare stuff first, and and then you try to find the more easy stuff to find, because that's never going to be out of print. With the rarity stuff, it's still a limited amount of things that, you're gonna get. But glad to have the debut album in my collection. Next up, this is probably another album that again, shockingly, I didn't have, and I have here, Carcass's Heartwork. Now this is the 2 disc edition, comes with the album, and the second disc comes with some EPs and some demos from of course during the recordings of Heartwork. But again, one of the most legendary albums in terms of death metal, grindcore, whatever you want to call Carcass. Highly influential. I mean, this to something like Surgical Steel is probably one of the best things from Carcass. Is, of course, Break Up With Your Paction and Symptom of Sickness are up there. But if you want something more melodic, 90s death metal, Carcass Heartwork is your album to beat. And that album cover, it's such an amazing album cover. Next up, we have another album from Death. This is now I'm starting to slowly complete the discography, and of course I have the last album that Death released, The Sound of Perseverance. Now I really, really enjoy The Sound of Perseverance. Then again, Death doesn't have any bad albums. That might be another ranking that I might do eventually in the future, depending on the timing. But when you have songs like Voice of the Soul, the Painkiller, the freaking cover of Judas Priest, which my God, if Painkiller already is fast, Chuck's vocals on this one's like almost haunting, to be honest. Spirit Crusher, Story to Tell, and Moment of Clarity. I mean, this entire album is a masterpiece. And more progressive, and it's a shame that this was the last album that Chuck released under the Death banner, because we know unfortunately after this Chuck a couple of years later passed away, that. But if I wish that we would have gotten more Death albums, and I think would have been more about progressive, more slow into progressiveness, which again, Death is one of those bands that doesn't have a bad album, one of the most beloved bands out there. Next up, and this is an album that I actually got in the mail actually as I'm recording this video today, and it's probably an album that's gonna be probably in my 2022 albums of the year, and I'm talking about Druid Lord Relics of the Dead. Now, if you all know me, I am a massive, and I mean a massive Death Doom guy. Death Doom is probably my cup of tea. And when my buddy Levi, aka Trashman99, reviewed this album, I didn't know this band existed until he told me, it's a Death Doom band, you're gonna love it. And of course, I listened to the album and I loved every single thing of it. Of course, it's not the melodic Death Doom that I mostly go to, but it's more of a aspects kind of sound, which again, I love that sound as well. Again, I love every single thing of Death Doom, maybe the melodic side or the more speed, death metal, growls, vocal side. But it's a really, really good album. We have songs like Nightside Conjuring, Monarch Macabre, 13 Days of Death. I mean, slow, heavy, evil. That album cover, my god, it's fucking eerie and just fucking awesome. But if you haven't listened to Druid Lord, give those guys a listen. You will definitely, highly definitely love it. Especially if you love Death Doom like myself. The next two albums are from the same band, and I was shocking to actually find these on the record store. And of course, the first one I'm talking about is Ghost Opus Apartments. Of course, with the new album that I just released a couple of days ago, I am planning to get the new album eventually sometime, either this week or next week. So stay tuned for that video whenever I release it. But I mean, it's the Opus Apartments debut, of course. Elizabeth, Ritual, Candre Condillo, Death Spell, Prime Over, Genesis. I mean, it's Ghost and its most primitive, most, I guess, true metal, even though Ghosts are one of those few bands that kind of go between metal and rock, sometimes a bit poppier, but it's the Opus Apartments. It's the debut, of course. A lot of Blue Oyster Cult influence, a lot of Black Sabbath influence, but if you're not haven't listened to Ghost, highly recommend listening to Opus Apartments or even Meleora or any of the Ghost albums. And the next Ghost album that I have is if my friend Hannah is watching this, Hannah, I love you, but I had to get this because I know you don't love this album. I know you hate that album with a passion, but I had to get it because I think it's not really a bad album. And of course, I'm talking about Prequel. Now, first of all, I want to say the album cover is kind of cool. Kind of has this kind of like a translucent or kind of 3D-ish sound. So that's pretty cool. Of course, this was the first album post Meleora, post the lawsuit and all that. So, a lot of things were, still unknown if, Tobias still had I guess the charm or still had the gift of writing good Ghost albums. In my opinion, it was a really good Ghost album. I had it at my number 3 when we did the albums of the year in 2018. My God, it's been that long since this album got released. When you have songs like Rats, Fate, which is the most Ghost song in terms of heaviness and doominess. I mean, Dance Macabre, I love my cheesiness at times. It's a really good album. Hills and Fountain, of course, having Michael Ickerford playing in the album. Live Eternal, Miasma, the fucking Papani with the saxophone. I mean, I love the album. Like I said, Ghost is another one of those bands that don't have a bad album. Now, this would probably be at the very low of the Ghost discography because for obvious reasons, but it's still an enjoyable album. It's not like you're listening to something like fucking Diablos and Musica or even fucking Catharsis from Machine Head or even the fucking Graveyard Classic Volume 2 from Six Feet Under, but still an enjoyable album. Next up, we get some Immortal. And of course, we have Sons of Northern Darkness. one of the most influential black metal albums of all time. And the thing that I like about this album is that besides the songs, every single song is phenomenal. This is a 2 disc set. Comes with the album and it comes with a bonus DVD live at BB King Club in 2003, which I like it when bands do that when they release CDs and DVD compilations of live performances, because if you can't see the band live, having a DVD with it will be the closest thing you can have. And I mean, come on, it's immortal, a bath, or as we the horsemen say, a shower. Next up, Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. I had to get Iron Maiden. I'm slowly getting the Iron Maiden discography complete. I am missing, of course, a lot of albums. I'm missing probably things like, I'm missing like Power Slave. I'm missing everything from Post, Somewhere Time, until the Blaze Belly era, and then I have some from when Maiden got back together and onward. But Peace of Mind, one of the most, of course, this was the debut of McBain, James of McBain in the band. I mean, of course, when you start the song with where Eagles there, one of the, oh, it's so good. But you go deep into the album, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, my God, it's probably one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs that my uncle loves. The Trooper, I mean, it's The Trooper, that alone, that's it. The Trooper, that's it. Sun and Steel, To Name a Land, probably one of the most beloved Maiden albums, next to something like maybe Number of the Beast or something close to Brave New World. And again, it's Iron Maiden. Again, Iron Maiden doesn't have a bad album, even though some people think that either the Blaze Bailey era or the post Brave New World era. I mean, I love Iron Maiden. Who doesn't love Iron Maiden? It's fucking Eddie. Next up, we have Judas Priest. Now, just to let you guys know, my next rank come out will be on Judas Priest. So I was able to get a lot of Judas Priest albums. I'm slowly getting a lot of the Judas Priest albums. I don't have everything, but I was, at the record shop, and I had to get them, especially since the majority of these Priest albums form the infamous the Trident and the 2001 remasters, which I've been trying to slowly hunt them down, and which going to the record shop really helped me out. So of course we have Stay in Class, of course that album cover, which again, the band think of that album cover, but it's what's inside that counts. We have songs like Exciter, Beyond the Realms of Dead. My God, that's one of the best ballads pieces ever done. Hero Ends, Better by You, Better Than Me. Of course, that song got infamously known for the trial in the 1990 when the two kids started. They actually heard the song, the lyrics of subliminal message of "Do It," which it's kind of stupid that somebody would think there would be subliminal messages on a Priest album, even though there are bands who kind of put subliminal messages, but Priest, come on. But again, it's just fucking Priest. Of course, we have Hellbent for Leather or Killing Machine, depending on where in the States or America or in UK. It's still Hellbent for Leather for me. And again, another great album when you have the opening track, Delivering the Goods, The Great Malinche, Without the Two-Person Grounds, the title track, Running Wild, Before the Dawn. My God, probably one of, like I mentioned, next to something like Beyond the Realms of Dead in terms of Priest ballads, this is probably up there, especially as I've been listening to that song for a while now, because it just hits you right in the heart. Evening Star, Hellbent for Leather, my God, that's one of the best Priest songs out there. But again, another great Priest album. And then following that, we have the Unleash the East, the live album that they released in 1979 in Japan. Of course, in the East, that should have tell you automatically they were in Japan. But I mean, a great performance. Even though some people say that most of the quote-unquote live albums are really actually live, which, take the case like Kiss Alive, the first one. It wasn't really live, but it felt like you were actually live. But regardless, but when you have songs, again, from Exciter to The Ripper, Diamond and Rust, Victim of Changes, even the bonus tracks like Rock Forever, Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather, it's Priest. Like I said, Priest No matter what, it's Judas fucking Priest, and that album cover me coming. It's Rob Halford right in the center as the metal god should be. And then of course we have Point of Entry. A lot of people think that this is probably the worst Priest album, which I don't know. I mean, like I said, if I were to say, I mean, I don't want to spoil what the bottom one was, but you know, in terms of not the most successful or maybe I guess I want to say most radio friendly. Of course, Point of Entry does that. We have songs like On the Run, Solar Angels, Hot Rockin', Hate It on the Highway. It's like the Rageaholic has said. If you live in a place like has desert, you know, in Arizona, it will hit you right in the heart because the band was recording this album while they were in Arizona. So you know, kind of the desert esque sound to it. But regardless, it's Point of Entry. Next up, in a lot of people's minds, probably their best album, which has it's a good argument for it. And of course, I'm talking about Screaming for Vengeance. When you start off an album with the Healing Electric Eye, that automatically you're at the stratosphere, you're at the start, but you go deep into the album, Pain and Pleasure, Screaming for Vengeance, Devil's Child, you know, Take These Changes. Again, another great Priest album. And the last from the Priest discography that I have, Turbo. Now, a lot of people hate Turbo. Turbo's okay. Turbo's not. It's not the worst. I have some good songs like Turbo Lover, Out on the Code, Hot for Love. You know, it has aged well. Not by a bit, but it has aged well. At least it has aged better than something like Chinese Democracy. I'll tell you that. But it's still a great album. So that was the Priest CDs that I got. Now to move over. Now we have Creator. I just have one Creator album that I got. And the first actually Creator album actually of my entire discography, even though I love Creator. I love Creator. They're probably my favorite of the 2004 of German thrash metal, next to Sodom and then Destruction, of course, Tanker at the very end. And I have here my 2017 album of the year, which was Gods of Violence. I enjoyed the living crap out of Gods of Violence. We have songs like Satan is Real, Totalitarian Terror, the title track, Hail to the Hordes, Fallen Brother, Death Becomes My Light. It's a great album. And the thing I liked about this album, this edition, is that it has a DVD live at Wacken in 2014, which, again, if you have not seen the band live, seeing a live performance in your comfort of your own home really does help out, like I said. And this was in 2014. This was around during the Phantom Antichrist era, so you can imagine the atmosphere and the power that Creator were going into this live performance. Of course, Phantom Antichrist, Pleasure to Kill, Phobia, Tormentor, Endless Pain. I can go on and on about this album. I really love this album, especially the live performance. Like I said, it helps a lot. Now we have some Moonspell, and I know my buddy Archer is really happy that I actually got some Moonspell in my collection. Of course, I'm talking about 1755. When this album first came out back in 2017, it was one of those rare albums that I actually enjoyed because this was, of course, Moonspell, probably the biggest band to come out of Portugal next to something like maybe like a band like Death Doom Legends Desires, or some another band like maybe the current Ashes of Life, which are a current new band. But the thing about Moonspell that they did was they actually sang in Portuguese. So that's really hard for a band, unlike Rammstein, who sing in their native language and get over and get big. With this album, 1755 talks about the infamous earthquake. If I'm trying to remember my Portuguese history. I think my buddy Archer told me it's about the infamous earthquake that was felt from Portugal all the way to Norway. So you can tell the distance. It was really that big of an earthquake and everything that happened. But to sing in Portuguese, in their native language, and get so much appraisal and everything, I mean, my God, it has become one of their best albums to date. And if you're want to get into Moonspell, this one is probably one of my best recommendations for you to get into Moonspell. Again, Moonspell 1755. Next up, we have some Queensryche. And of course, we have Operation Mindcrime. I don't want to say I'm the biggest progressive metal fan, but I do enjoy it from time to time. But when it comes to Queensrÿche, this is probably the album that I will always go to. I mean, of course, this is a concept album about this lad who goes through, a lot of stuff, through love. Of course, it's a really, really good story. I'm trying to remember the story on the top of my head, but I can't remember it. But the songs, you know, they're some of the best songs. I mean, Einstein Stranger, I Don't Believe in Love, The Mission, The Needle Lies. It's a really, really good progressive metal album. And this was released in 1988, so, it still holds up a lot. Next up, we have some Sepultura, and of course, I had to get Beneath the Remains. Now, with Sepultura, being a Brazilian band, kind of a bit of a Portuguese sound to it, though Max Calavera, of course, the Calavera brothers in general, one of the best brothers in metal, of course, next to probably like Angus and Malcolm Young, but every single song of this album fucking kicks ass. The title track, Slavers of Pain, Mass Hypnosis, Inner Self, Hungry, my god. If you haven't not listened to Sepultura, give this guy a listen. My god, I can be one of the best bands to come out of Brazil and thrash metal. Now, let's see, we're getting into some Slayer. Now, if you previously saw my previous video, my previous Rank 'em All Slayer, I really went deep dive into Slayer. And when I was at the record shop, they had some Slayer albums, and I was, you know what, I need to get them. And side note, they had Diablos and Música in the shelf, and I was like, no, I'm not picking that. I'm not picking that up. So whoever likes Diablos, let me know. Defend it. I really want to know why you think Diablos is good, quote unquote. But regardless, I got a lot of some Slayer albums, of course, from Show No Mercy, The Haunting at Chapel EP, Hell Awaits, South of Heaven, and of course, Seasons in the Abyss. What more can I say about Slayer that hasn't been said already? And the last album in this whole Up City collection is an album that I actually saw on Instagram. I can't remember the person that saw it to. I think it was Cult. It's a really good Instagrammer. I'm trying to remember his actual name. I'm sorry if you're seeing this. I'm sorry, but I just can't remember it. And he had this on his collection. He bought it, and I was like, "This is just for the album cover alone." I had to buy it without me, go into the album and listen to it. And of course, and just to be warned, this is a kind of bit of a graphic album cover, so be warned. Of course, I'm talking about Wear a Goat with the album Pestilence, Rights, Our Inferno, Fornication. I mean, look at that album cover. It's a fucking goat, kind of have a bit of a ritual, fucking, like naked lady. And of course, the back, I mean, my god, it's so graphically, like, when I first saw it, I was like, this has to be some black metal shit. And my god, it's really black metal. When you start off the album with the song Godless Invocation and has the fucking Hell's Bells right there, the freaking Hell's Bells, that alone was like, okay, now you got me in. But you go into the album and you have songs like the longest songs I've ever heard, from Screaming, from Endless, Blasphemies, and Empty Soul Seat Upon the Pitiful Face of Benevolence. When you have the freaking intro from The Exorcist, when Reagan is being possessed and telling the priest, "Stick your cock up ass, your motherfucking cocksucker." I was instantly already into when you have both the bells from Hell's Bells and that in this album. Not to mention the lyrics are fucking grotesque, and if you read them carefully, it'll make you feel a certain way. Just to let you know, I was instantly a fan, and my god, probably one of the few gems in my discography that I'm so happy I went blind and actually hit a home run. But like I said, if you have a chance to listen to Wear a Goat, give this guys a listen. And that does it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoy. You have no idea the amount of CDs that I got. Of course, I'm still going to get more CDs. Of course, like I said, my next ranking one will be on Judas Priest. Hopefully, I can release that video sometime in this week or next week. Of course, I'm still trying to think about other ideas to do, and of course, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments. Because I really want to know what you guys want me to do. Of course, I'm still gonna bring you all some horror theme videos, which I'm still trying to think my next horror theme video. Maybe I'll do some reviews again. I know I said I want to do more album reviews. I just haven't found the right album. I could have done it with Ghost, but I was out of town. There's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to think. But like I said, hope you guys are enjoying this video. Hope you guys stay along for the ride. And until next time, stay metal.